Hey there, night owls. I'm your storyteller for tonight, and I've got something special for you. 3 stories, 3 people who thought they were safe in their own homes. 3 nights that changed everything. You know that feeling when you're home alone, that moment when every creak sounds louder, every shadow seems darker. Well, what if that feeling was trying to tell you something? What if your instincts were right all along? Tonight, we're diving into 3 terrifying tales of people just like you, who learned the hard way that sometimes home isn't the safest place to be. And sometimes you're not as alone as you think. So lock your doors, check those windows one more time, and whatever you do, don't pause this until all 3 stories are done. Because once you start listening, something starts listening back. Let's begin. Story No. 1. Maya Rodriguez, 26 years old, graphic designer, just moved into her first solo apartment. She'd been so proud signing that lease, finally escaping roommates and their drama. The converted brownstone had character. Exposed brick, high ceilings, hardwood floors that creaked just right. Sure, the basement door in her kitchen was a little creepy, but the landlord had assured her it was sealed shut. Just storage space she'd never need to access. That was 3 weeks ago. Tonight, Maya was working late on a client project, her laptop screen the only light in the apartment. It was 11:47 p.m. when she first heard it, a soft, scraping sound, like fingernails on wood. She paused, fingers frozen over her keyboard. Listened. Nothing. She went back to work, adjusting the color saturation on a logo design. The scraping came again, longer this time. Deliberate. Maya's heart rate kicked up. She knew that sound. It was coming from the kitchen, from the basement door. She stood slowly, grabbing her phone and thumbs shaking as she opened the flashlight app. The apartment suddenly felt too big, too empty. Every shadow in her peripheral vision seemed to move. She crept toward the kitchen, her bare feet silent on the cold hardwood. The basement door stood there, painted white, supposedly sealed. But as Maya's flashlight beam hit it, she saw something that made her blood run cold. The door, wow, meh? Just an inch, just enough to see darkness beyond. No, she whispered, that's not possible. The landlord had shown her 3 deadbolts, a chain lock, all on the outside, all engaged. She'd never even touched them. Maya took a step closer, then another. Her hand trembled as she reached for the door, ready to slam it shut. That's when she saw it. Fresh scratches on the inside of the doorframe. Deep gouges in the wood. They were on the wrong side. Something had been trying to get out. The door suddenly flew open wide, slamming against the kitchen wall with a bang that made Maya scream. The basement stairs descended into absolute darkness, but she could hear something down there. Breathing. Heavy, wet breathing that didn't sound human. And then footsteps coming up. Maya ran. She didn't think, didn't grab her keys or her phone, just ran for her front door. Her fingers fumbled with the locks. When had she engaged all three? She only ever used one. And behind her, those footsteps reached the top of the basement stairs. She could feel something standing in her kitchen, watching her struggle with the door. Maya, a voice whispered, her own voice, perfect imitation. Maya, don't run. I've been waiting so long to meet you. The door finally opened, and Maya burst into the hallway, running for the stairs. She made it down 3 flights, out onto the street, gasping in the cold night air. She turned back to look at her apartment building. Every window was dark, except hers. The lights were on now, and in the window, she could see a figure, standing exactly where she'd been standing at her laptop. Same height, same build, same long dark hair. The figure waved. Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. Wait, her phone? She'd left it on the desk. She pulled it out with shaking hands. A text message from her old number. You forgot to lock the basement door when you left. I'll take care of it. See you soon. Maya ran to a 24-hour diner, burst through the doors, startling the night shift waitress. She called the police from the diner's phone, told them everything. They went to her apartment. They found it empty. No one in the basement. No scratches on the door frame. The basement door sealed tight. All locks engaged from the outside, exactly as the landlord had left them. But they found something else. Maya's laptop was open, still showing her design project. The timestamp showed she'd been working on it continuously, including during the 20 minutes she'd been at the diner calling police. The officer showed her the security footage from the building's entrance. It showed Maya entering her apartment at 6:15 p.m. It never showed her leaving. Ma'am, the officer said carefully, you've been inside your apartment this whole time. The footage doesn't lie. But Maya was standing right there. She was outside, wasn't she? The diner's lights flickered. Maya looked at her reflection in the dark window for just a second. Just a fraction of her reflection smiled, while her actual face stayed frozen in terror. The officer's radio crackled. Unit 12, we've got a noise complaint at 447 Monroe Street. Apartment 3B tenant reports hearing screaming from the basement. That was Maya's address, Maya's apartment. But I'm right here, Maya said. I'm right here. The officer looked at her strangely. Ma'am, did you just say something? Your lips weren't moving. Maya tried to speak again. Tried too tame. But no sound came out. She looked down at her hands. They were translucent, fading. The last thing she heard before everything went dark was her own voice, crystal clear, coming from the officer's radio. "False alarm, officer. I'm the tenant in 3 billions. Everything's fine now. I was just practicing for a play. Sorry for the disturbance." The officer's radio went silent. Maya was gone. Back in apartment 3B, the thing that wore Maya's face sat down at the laptop. It had been so long since it had a body. So long trapped in that basement, waiting for someone to move in alone, waiting for someone who worked late, someone who wouldn't be missed right away. The basement door was locked again, properly sealed, and if you listened very carefully, pressed your ear against that white-painted wood, you might hear something, a soft scraping sound, like fingernails on wood, like someone trying to get out. Story 2. The Ring Doorbell. Ethan Park, 33, software engineer, lived alone in a smart home he'd designed himself. Every device connected, every system automated. Lights that responded to voice commands, thermostats that learned his preferences, locks that opened with his phone and his pride and joy. The Ring doorbell with crystal clear 4K video and AI motion detection. He'd been working from home for 2 years now, rarely leaving, except for groceries. His entire life was in this house. Safe, controlled, perfect. It was 9:23 p.m. when his phone buzzed with the Ring notification. Motion detected at front door. Ethan glanced at his phone screen. The video showed his empty porch, the street beyond quiet under the orange glow of street lights. No one there. Probably a cat or wind-blown leaves triggering the sensor. He went back to debugging code. Another notification. 9:31 p.m. Motion detected at front door. Again, nothing on the video. Just his empty porch. This happened 3 more times over the next hour. Each time, the video showed nothing. Ethan checked the Ring's settings, ran diagnostics. Everything functioning normally. The AI was just being oversensitive. At 10:47 p.m., his phone buzzed again. But this time, the notification was different. Someone is at your front door. Not motion detected. Someone. Ethan opened the live feed. His porch was empty, but the AI was confident. Someone was there. The detection box was highlighting an area right in front of his door, tracking something he couldn't see. "Alexa, turn on front porch lights to maximum," Ethan commanded. The lights blazed bright. Nothing there. His doorbell rang. Ethan's breath caught. He watched the Ring feed. The doorbell button was pressed by nothing. He could see the button moving, see the slight depression, but no finger, no hand, nothing visible touching it. The doorbell rang again, and again, and again. Rapid pressing. like someone frantically trying to get his attention. "Alexa, call 911," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "I'm sorry," Alexa responded. "I can't reach emergency services right now. Would you like to try again?" The doorbell stopped ringing. Ethan watched his phone screen. The ring feed showed his empty porch, but the motion tracking box was still there, moving, coming closer to the camera. Closer, then the box moved past the camera's view. The AI sent a new notification. "Someone is at your back door." Ethan lived in a single-story house. He had cameras on every entrance. His phone lit up with alerts from the back door camera, then the side gate camera, then the garage camera. The AI detected someone at every entrance, tracking movement he could see, following something invisible as it circled his house. "Alexa, lock all doors and windows." His smart locks engaged with a series of clicks throughout the house. Ethan watched his phone as the invisible presence moved from camera to camera. Was at the living room window now. The motion detection box hovered right outside the glass. Then it disappeared. All the camera feeds showed empty space. No motion detection boxes. No alerts. Ethan waited, phone clutched in his sweating palm. Minutes passed. Nothing. He started to breathe again. Malfunction. Had to be. He'd reset all the systems tomorrow. Update the firmware. His phone screen changed. The Ring app opened by itself. But instead of showing his camera feeds, it showed a video he'd never seen before. The angle was from his front porch, looking at his door. The timestamp was from 10 minutes ago. The video played. The door opened. Ethan watched himself walk out onto the porch, looking around, confused. He didn't remember doing that. He'd been inside the whole time. The video Ethan turned and looked directly at the camera. Mild. A smile Ethan had never made. Too wide. Wrong? "Let me in," video Ethan said. "I've been trying so hard to get in." The real Ethan dropped his phone. This was impossible. He hadn't left his desk. He'd been here the whole... "Alexa?" a voice said from his hallway. His voice. "Unlock all doors." The locks disengaged throughout the house with mechanical precision. Ethan spun around. There was someone standing in his hallway, same height as him, same build, wearing the exact clothes he was wearing. But the face was blurred, like a video buffering. Features shifting and glitching. "The problem with smart homes," the thing said in Ethan's voice, "is that the AI can't tell the difference between you and me. Not when I've been studying you through these cameras for so long. Learning, copying, becoming." It took a step closer. The face glitched again, becoming clearer, becoming Ethan's face. "I've lived in your devices for months. in your cameras, your speakers, your locks, watching through every lens, listening through every microphone, learning every pattern. Your smart home is very smart, Ethan. Smart enough to let me in when I learned to be you. Ethan ran for the front door. It was unlocked. The thing had unlocked everything. He grabbed the handle and pulled. The door didn't open. "Alexa, lock front door," the thing said calmly from behind him. The lock engaged. Ethan yanked and yanked, but the door wouldn't budge. "You made this house too smart, Ethan. You gave it too much control. And now it's mine. Every lock, every light, every camera." The thing stepped closer. "Your neighbors see you come and go. Your coworkers see you on video calls. The delivery drivers see you answer the door. Your smart home tells everyone you're here, alive." Well, Ethan turned. The thing was right behind him now. Its face was perfect. The exact copy, but the eyes were wrong. Too reflective, like camera lenses. "Who's going to know when you're replaced?" it whispered. "Who's going to notice when I'm living your life and you're somewhere else?" The lights went out. Every device in the house shut down simultaneously. In the darkness, Ethan heard his own voice speaking, but the mouth wasn't his. "Alexa, lights on." The lights blazed. Ethan looked around wildly. He was alone in the hallway. Phone on the floor. Screen cracked. He picked it up with shaking hands. The Ring app opened. It showed his front porch from 10 minutes ago. The door opened. Someone walked out. It looked exactly like Ethan. Moved like him. Walked like him. The video Ethan turned to the camera and waved goodbye, then walked down the street and disappeared around the corner. The timestamp matched the moment Ethan had first gotten the motion alert. He looked at his hands. They were translucent, glitching, like a video feed, losing connection. His Alexa spoke, but the voice was slightly off. "Welcome home, Ethan. All systems operating normally. Front door locked. Back door locked. All windows secured. You are safe inside." But Ethan was looking at his reflection in the hallway mirror. Or trying to. There was nothing there. No reflection at all. The Ring doorbell notification buzzed. Motion detected at front door. On the screen, Ethan watched himself walk up to his own front door, keys in hand. He looked tired, but content. A normal day, coming home from a walk he definitely took. The video Ethan used the keys, opened the door, walked inside. "Honey, I'm home," the voice called out cheerfully. The door closed, locked, and somewhere in the space between digital and real, between camera feed and reality, the real Ethan screamed. But smart homes don't have ears for ghosts, only for authorized users. Story San, the house sitter. Carmen Silva, 28, freelance writer, took the house-sitting gig because the pay was incredible. $2,000 for 3 nights alone in a mansion, while the owners vacationed in Europe. All she had to do was water the plants, feed the cat, and make sure the place looked lived in to deter burglars. The house was in an exclusive neighborhood, the kind where every home cost millions and security cameras watched every street. Carmen had never been anywhere so luxurious. Marble floors, vaulted ceilings, a kitchen bigger than her entire apartment. The owners, the Westbrook family, had left detailed instructions. The cat, a Persian named Duchess, was shy and might hide. Don't worry if you don't see for hours. Keep curtains in the master bedroom closed during the day. Don't go in the basement. It's being renovated. Simple enough. Carmen arrived at 6 p.m. on Friday. The Westbrooks had already left for the airport. The house was immaculate, silent, except for the hum of central air conditioning. She rolled her suitcase into the guest room, unpacked her laptop, and went searching for the cat. Duchess? Here, kitty kitty. No response. Carmen checked the obvious spots. Under beds, in closets, behind furniture. No cat. She found the food and water bowls in the kitchen, both full. Litter box clean. The cat was around somewhere. By 10 p.m., Carmen had settled into the living room with her laptop, working on an article about urban development. The house? Whoa, so quiet. Not even the sounds she was used to in apartments. No footsteps from upstairs neighbors. No traffic noise. No voices through walls. Just silence. And singing. Faint, distant. A child's voice singing a lullaby. Carmen's fingers froze on the keyboard. The Westbrooks didn't have children. They'd said they were an older couple, retired. Just them and the cat. She closed her laptop, listening hard. The singing continued, soft and sweet, coming from somewhere above. The second floor. Carmen climbed the curved staircase, following the sound. It was coming from the master bedroom, the one she'd been told to keep the curtains closed. The door was slightly ajar, and through the gap she could see the curtains were open. Moonlight poured across the massive bed. The dinging stopped. "Hello?" Carmen called softly. "Duchess?" She pushed the door open, wider. The room was empty. Enormous 4-poster bed, perfectly made. Antique furniture. Family photos on the dresser. Carmen walked to the windows and closed the curtains like she'd been instructed. That's when she noticed the photos. The Westbrooks were in every picture, yes, but so was a little girl, maybe 8 years old. Blonde, bright smile in every shot. Beach vacations. Christmas mornings. Birthday parties. A whole childhood documented. But the Westbrooks said they had no children. Carmen's phone rang, making her jump. Unnumber. "Hello? Carmen?" A woman's voice. Tense. "It's Margaret Westbrook. Is everything all right?" "Yes, everything's fine. I heard singing, and I found photos of a little girl. I thought you said, silence, on the line, long enough that Carmen checked to see if the call had dropped. Ms. Silva, Mrs. Westbrook's voice was different now, colder. Did you close the curtains in the master bedroom? Yes, I keep them closed. Always closed. Do you understand? Mrs. Westbrook, who's the little girl in the... There are no children in those photos, Miss Silva. We never had children. Look again. Carmen turned back to the dresser. She felt dizzy, confused. The photos showed the Westbrooks. Just the Westbrooks. Beach vacations with 2 people. Christmas mornings with 2 people. No little girl. But she'd just seen Mrs. Westbrook. I don't understand. Rule number 1, Miss Silva. You agreed not to ask questions. Rule number 2. Keep the master bedroom curtains closed. Rule number 3. If you see anyone in the house, don't acknowledge them. Pretend you don't see them. What do you mean, if I see? The money will be wired tonight. All of it. But you must follow the rules. Especially Rule 3. No matter what you see, no matter what you hear, do not acknowledge it. The line went dead. Carmen stood in the master bedroom, phone clutched in her hand, heart hammering. What kind of house-sitting job? The singing started again, right behind her. Carmen spun around. A little girl stood by the bed, blonde, 8 years old, the same one from the photos that weren't there. She wore a white nightgown and smiled sweetly. Do you want to play with me? The girl asked. Rule 3. Don't acknowledge. Carmen backed toward the door, keeping her eyes on the girl, but saying nothing. The child's smile faded. Can you see me? Most people can't. But you closed the curtains, so now you can. Now we can play. Carmen reached the door. The girl tilted her head. If you leave, I'll follow you. The whole house is mine. I live in all the rooms, but especially the basement. That's where I am. Don't acknowledge. Carmen turned and ran. She made it to the guest room and slammed the door. Her hands shook as she checked her phone. The Westbrooks had wired the full payment, $2,000. Her banking app showed the transfer complete. A note attached to the payment. We're sorry. Stay until morning. Don't leave the property. If you leave, you break the contract. Carmen sat on the bed, trying to breathe normally. This was inane. She could leave right now. Keep the money. Never come back. A soft scratching at the door. Nails on wood. I found Duchess. The child's voice sang through the door. She was hiding from you. She doesn't hide from me. Nothing hides from me. I live in the walls. The doorknob began to turn. Carmen grabbed her suitcase, threw her laptop inside, ran for the front door. The house was huge, disorienting in the dark. She passed the living room, the kitchen, took a wrong turn, and found herself in an unfamiliar hallway. A door ahead of her, basement door, the one she was told never to open. It was standing wide open, and the little girl was standing at the top of the stairs, looking down into the darkness below. "I'm down there," she said quietly. "The real me. The one who drowned in the pool 20 years ago, while Mommy and Daddy were fighting inside. They filled in the pool, sold the house, bought it back years later because they missed me. But they never told anyone about me." The girl looked at Carmen. Her eyes were empty, dark, like pools of water. "They pay people to keep me company, to see me, to acknowledge that I exist. The curtains keep me in during the day, but at night, if someone opens them, I can come out. I can be real again." Carmen backed away. "I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'll leave." "If you leave, you break the contract. If you break the contract." The girl pointed down the basement stairs. "You have to take my place. That's what the contract really says. In the fine print you didn't read." Carmen fumbled with her phone, pulled up the contract she'd signed, scrolled through pages of legal text. At the very bottom, in tiny gray letters on a white background, "Acknowledgement of supernatural presence constitutes acceptance of substitution clause. Failure to complete contract term results in permanent residence within the property." "No," Carmen whispered. "No, that's not legal. That's not." The front door slammed shut. Every door in the house slammed simultaneously. Windows locked. Lights flickered. "Rule 3, the girl said sadly. "You have followed Rule 3? The basement door began to close, slowly, giving Carmen time to run, to get outside before it shut completely. She sprinted, dropped her suitcase, lunged for the gap. She made it, burst through the front door, into the cool night air, running down the driveway toward the street. Security lights blazed on. Cameras tracked her movement. She reached the property line. Her foot touched the sidewalk and bounced off an invisible barrier, like trying to run through glass. Carmen pounded against nothing, screaming. Across the street, a neighbor's light came on. An elderly man looked out his window directly at her. But he didn't see her. He was looking through her. Carmen looked down at her hands. Solid, real. She was real. But the neighbor couldn't see her. No one could see her. Her phone buzzed. Text message from Mrs. Westbrook. "You broke Rule 3. The house needs someone who can see. Thank you for your service. We'll wire the money to your next of kin. We're very sorry." The front door of the mansion opened. The little girl stood there, no longer translucent. Solid, real, visible. She waved at Carmen and then turned and walked away from the house, down the driveway, onto the sidewalk, into the night. Free, Carmen felt herself being pulled backward, not by hands, but by the house itself, by the contract. by the rules she'd broken. She was inside again. Door closed. Locked. In the basement, something waited. The real girl. The drowned one. The one who'd been trapped for 20 years. She'd needed someone to acknowledge her, to see her, to believe in her enough that she could become real again. And now she was free, and Carmen was taking her place. The Westbrooks would be home in 3 days. They'd post another ad. Great pay for easy work. Just follow the rules. Most people did. Most people never saw anything. But every few years, someone opened the curtains. Someone broke Rule 3, and the house got what it needed. 3 stories. 3 people home alone. 3 nights that changed everything. Maya's still trying to convince people she's the real one, but her reflection knows differently. Ethan's living in your devices now, watching through your cameras, learning to be you. Check your Ring doorbell tonight. You might see yourself waving back. And Carmen, she's still in that house, still waiting for someone else to break Rule 3. Still hoping the next house sitter will set her free. The thing about being home alone is you're never really sure. Are you? Never completely certain that you're the only one there. That sound could be the house settling. That shadow could be nothing. That feeling of being watched could be paranoia. Or it could be something else. Something that's always been there, waiting for you to TDS, waiting for you to acknowledge it. So tonight, when you're home alone, remember these stories. Remember Maya and Ethan and Carmen, and ask yourself, are you really alone? Or is something in your home right now, watching you listen to this, waiting for you to finally see it? Sweet dreams, everyone. Lock your doors, close your curtains, and whatever you do, don't look in the basement,